meet my emotional support bat, Zayden. The week the week I've been having, I need an emotional support animal, something to cuddle. And apparently Halloween has arrived at TK Maxx already. Hello heathens! Welcome to my vlog for Summerween. And I thought it was appropriate to start it off with my friend here. Yeah. If anybody's in the UK, I'm sure it's also happening in the States, but certainly at TK Maxx and Home Sense, wow, we have really started Halloween early. They've got all the Halloween stuff out, and I haven't bought anything. I'll show you something else I purchased in a second. Also, I'll put in some video footage of me going through Home Sense this morning with all the cool Halloween stuff. And I'm going to be reading this vlog. So, Zayden, go sit over there. Oh, he's so cute. Also, check this monster out. We've gone proper Halloween themed already. I feel like people are really wishing the summer over. But we are here for the Summerween vibes. So these are the books that are on my TBR. So I'm going to try and get through as many of them as I can. But because I'm a despicable mood reader, I have might have some other books that I want to read. I have got For Whom the Bell Tolls, which this is set in hell, so that's very Summerweeny. And then I also do have, you're perched on some of them, but a number of really dark, kind of horror themed dark romance books that I'm sort of in the mood for, even though the sun is shining outside. I'm in the mood for the dark books. I like the darkness. So I'll take you along. I'll let you know what I think of these books. Also, like I said, I'll insert some footage and I'll show you what else I got. I got a bat. The guy behind the counter just sort of looked at me like, sure. When you get that look, of people. Hello. Look at that. It's a skeleton unicorn. Sorry, I'm very, very excited about this. I love, it says for decoration only. Well, gee, what was I going to do with it? But this is my little skeleton Halloween unicorn, and I'll need to find a name for her. But yeah, let's start the goddamn vlog. Oh, All the Dead Lie Down. This is good. This is in the best kind of gothic thriller horror sort of vein of books, although it is modern. So a lot of gothic horror books and romance books are set like in the Victorian era, this is not, but it has those immaculate vibes. So what is this book about? This is about Maren. She's our main character. Her mom has very sadly passed away. They were actually in a train accident and her mom passed away and she survived. And Maren has this thing where all her life she was very cautious. She always sort of had premonitions of something not being quite right, something about to go wrong, while her mom was very kind of free-spirited, very like, why do you keep worrying about everything? And she actually had a really bad vibe before this accident. So she's kind of left alone in the world with no money, no options. And she gets an invite from an old friend of her mom's who is now a very famous horror writer. Maren has read this woman's horror novels. She loves them. She writes a lot of kind of haunted house, spooky kind of gothic horror books. So she's a big fan. So she's really excited that she's been invited to this woman's house to come and stay with her for the summer to actually be a nanny to her 2 youngest children. Now, these children, hi. reminds me why I don't want children or want to be a nanny. They are awful, bratty, horrible. They are actively trying to get rid of Marin. Ren, the slightly older one, is particularly evil. The things they do to this poor girl. The younger one sort of, I don't know if she's pretending to like her or not, or if she actually does like her, but she keeps saying that Ren kind of makes her go along with her sort of schemes. But anyway, but back to when Marin actually arrives at this house. It's this beautiful, like, gothic-y mansion by the sea. But it does give her a very foreboding vibe. And the whole time she kind of feels like something is not right. And like I said, these kids are actively trying to get rid of her. They even, I mean, to the point where they give her this berry and be like, oh, try this berry. And as she's about to put this berry in her mouth, another girl pops up who happens to be Evie, the oldest daughter, who's just kind of, she's either left or being kicked out of university. And she's like, don't eat that. It's belladonna. And the girls know this. She's trying to kill her. So anyway, Evie turns up, and this sort of adds to another layer of mystery here, because Marin overhears a conversation between Evie and Ren, where Ren is basically going, no, we need to get rid of Marin, we need to get rid of her. And Evie's kind of going, actually, no, she's got nowhere to go, don't be mean. But she knows something is not right in this house. The mother, Alice, the author, is also a right bitch. You think she's nice for taking her in, but actually something is not right in this house, and she's getting bad vibes. It's so good. It's so perfectly spooky and creepy. And also the writing is absolutely beautiful. I want to see if I can find one of the tabbed sections. Marin was struck by the violence of it, the bent necks and the bloodied feathers, but she was struck by the beauty of it too, the blue-green glimmer on the edges of the feathers as they caught the sunlight, the flecks of crimson red on the bird's neck, the white glimmer of a hint of bone. Basically, the kids left her dead. There was a bird in her room, and then the bird ends up dead because it smashes itself in the window. But just the way that that's described is so beautiful. This is a YA book, but I think anybody can enjoy it. The writing's really beautiful. And also, I think there's a sapphic romance brewing between Evie and Marin. So I am on page 120 odd, part 2. Part 2 is entitled Everything You Want Has Teeth. And there's a quote by Mary Shelley in here that says, there is something at work in my soul which I do not understand. This is so good. I'm having the best time reading this. It's also windy, stormy, horrible outside. Perfect vibes for this. I will check in some more with you later. If you can hear sizzling in the background, I'm cooking steak, so ignore it. Smells heavenly though, I'm starving. This book! Okay. Home is Where the Bodies Are by Geneva Rose. This is my first Geneva Rose experience, and based on this so far, it is not going to be my last. So this was one of the books I was really, really looking forward to reading as part of Summerween, because I've been dying to read this for ages, and it just sounded really good. And every time I read the synopsis, I was like, I've got to read this. It is so good. I'm on page 127 because literally I cannot stop reading this. I was like, oh, I'm just going to read a few chapters and then I'm going to talk to you guys about it, and then I'm going to read some more. And I was just like, I cannot stop reading this. So this is about, we have 3 siblings. So we've got Michael, Beth, and Nicole. And Beth has been sort of looking after her mother. Her mother had like dementia, and she's just passed away in the beginning of the book. So I will say trigger warning for death of a family member, and being someone who actually did watch their parent die because they were terminally ill, that could be triggering. So just, warning there. But so that happens in the beginning of the book, and then she contacts her brother and sister and obviously tells them. And you realize right from the get-go, I love this. It's very messy family dynamics, right? So Beth is divorced and she has a daughter. Apparently she got pregnant when she was 19. The daughter is now in the military. The sister, Nicole, has been an addict all her life. So she's currently trying to get clean, but Beth doesn't trust her because Nicole's always addicted. And then Michael kind of took off when they were younger, and I think they've seen him for years and years and years. So in the background, you have these kind of very messy family dynamics. But the main thrust of what happens in this is, after the mother passes away, they get the will, the lawyer comes over, and then they're going through the house and they find these old VHS tapes. And their mother was kind of obsessed with filming on VHS. It was like in the 90s. I love all the 90s references. And they put this one tape in, and on this tape, they see the mother, like she's filming, and then all of a sudden she stumbles upon the father outside, their father, and she's like, what's going on? And then there's like some weird going on, and then you see a girl who looks like she's been unalived, and this girl went missing, and it was actually the sister of Beth's high school boyfriend. So you kind of get flashbacks to the 90s where this girl went missing. And then you also have this thing where you realize in the beginning that the father disappeared as well. So he actually disappeared in 2015. So this was way after the event. I think the event of the girl going missing, and we assume he may have done something to her. It was 1999, but the father disappeared in 2015. The siblings have no idea where he is. They haven't seen him for years. But just before the mother passes away, she says to Beth, she leaves us this cryptic message saying, your father didn't disappear, don't trust, and then she kind of passes, so we never get the end of it. So basically now the siblings are trying to figure out, after having seen this video, are trying to figure out what's going on, trying to find the father. It's so good. It's so good. Like I said, I literally just wanted to read a few pages, and I'm 120 pages in. I just cannot stop reading it. I'm trying to cook my steak and read at the same time. So so far, I'll check in at the end of the book, because it isn't a very long book. I think I'm pretty much halfway through. I'll check in the end, but right now, 5 stars. Hugely recommend this if you want a good thriller with a good family drama dynamics as well. But I'll keep you tuned. I have finished my first 2 books. So we have got All the Dead Lie Down by Kerry McCauley. So good. So good. The writing, it's beautiful and savage and lyrical and also easy to read at the same time. And that's hard to accomplish. The second half of this book, wow, you find out what is going on in this house. You find out what is going on with this family. They're dead things, resurrecting things. This is just, family curses. It's kind of really a modern gothic thriller. It is so well written. I really enjoyed this. There is also a sci-fi love story between Evie and Marin in this, which is really sweet. Kind of that sweetness amongst this kind of darkness, really, and of what's going on and happening to this family. It's sad. It's beautiful. All the things. It's so good. Definite 4-star read. Absolutely recommend picking that up. And then I also finished Home is Where the Bodies Are by Geneva Rose. So good. I did not see the twist. I didn't know who done it. Maybe I'm just stupid, but I didn't, and it could be that I'm just stupid. But I thought this was really good. So you find out again in the second half of this book, what did the parents do? What happened to the missing girl? Because if you remember, the mother said, father didn't disappear, don't trust who? You find out who you're not supposed to trust. Again, didn't see it coming. It's a really great thriller. I've heard quite a few people say who read thrillers that they really enjoy this, and they really enjoy Geneva Rose. My first Geneva Rose experience. This will not be my last. Another 4-star read. Absolutely recommend this as a really great, short, sharp, to the point thriller with some domestic drama in it as well. And also, I love the kind of dynamic between the 3 siblings and how certain things have kind of influenced their lives and how they both support each other in certain ways, but also incredibly toxic together. I just think it was a fantastic read. So I am also going to start reading now How to Survive a Horror Movie. This is by Scarlett Dunmore. It is a YA book, again a thriller. I believe our main characters here are obsessed with horror movies, and then the school they go to, suddenly people start dropping and they're in a real life slasher movie, and they're gonna try and figure out who done it. So I'm gonna start reading this, and I'll speak to you all later. Bye. It is suddenly just thunder and storming and raining outside, so it's kind of perfect Summerween reading weather. So I shall be reading Sarah Faring, The 10th Girl, because this is the perfect atmosphere for it, right? First impressions of The 10th Girl by Sarah Faring. This book is weird, and I'm not entirely sure if I think it's good weird or bad weird right now. I've just hit page 90. So, you know, almost 100 pages in. And I'm definitely going to continue reading because I'm intrigued. But it's the writing is beautiful. It's quite lyrical writing. So the setup you have here is our main character, Mavi. It says Argentina 1978 on her chapter. So something happened with her mother, like her family became part of like the disappeared in Argentina, so around the revolution. So there's some political history around Argentina in this. And she's kind of all on her own, and she's just turned 18, doesn't have anywhere to go, is basically running from the government that arrested her mother. Her family kind of don't want anything to do with her because they're scared that they will get pulled into this and they will get arrested as well by the government. So she's running for her life, and she manages to get a fake degree in English and some fake references from like an uncle that's also kind of involved in the revolution. And she's pretending to be older than she is so that she can get a teaching job. So she goes around Buenos Aires, doesn't get any teaching jobs, and then eventually she gets into this Vacara school in Patagonia. So literally arse end of the world, right, in Patagonia, where her uncle kind of helps her get in there. And it's this beautiful mansion out in Patagonia, and it describes very Gothic. Like the lake around it has got icebergs in it, and just the description of this really opulent Gothic style mansion is incredible. And it's run by this woman of the Vaccaro family, and she's decided she's going to open like an exclusive girls' school. So they only have 10 students, or 9 as it is at the moment, in this school, and they're from very wealthy families. These girls are all very wealthy families, and they're going to be kind of exclusively taught at this school in the middle of nowhere, Patagonia. And when she gets there, she kind of has a rough journey, because when she gets there, no one lets her in, and then there's a guy upstairs. He opens the window and he spits on her. Complete arsehole. Turns out to be the headmistress's and the owner of the place's son. And it's all very strange and odd, and it's like in that typical Gothic nature. Love it. But then you skip to another chapter from a character called Angel, and the date on that says 2020 to 22,000. Confused the heck out of me, because I was like, hang on, I thought we were, I'll show you. I'm like, hang on, I thought we were 1978 Argentina. So then you get that. I don't know if you can see that. And Angel is a ghost. She's a spirit. And she's in Vaccaro house in the school, and her chapters are her seeing what's going on, but from her perspective. So she basically sees Mavi, our main character, arrive and sees the whole spitting incident. But the thing is, her language and references are very modern. So like 2020 modern, right? But we're supposed to be in 1978 Argentina. So I was like, I'm confused. How can this ghost be a modern ghost watching the people in the late 70s? So I'm a little bit unclear how that works, and I'm assuming that that's going to get explained the further we go. So I'm very intrigued. Also, her chapters she's kind of funny, she's kind of snarky. She also, the chapter I've just read, when she was alive, there seems to have been some really bad home life. I think her mother either left or passed away, and it was her and her brother. And she seems to have been living with her older sister, and the boyfriend was quite abusive. Anyway, it doesn't seem like she has a great past. But then you have, in the beginning, you have this, like, she basically passed away, and she's like in this celestial waiting room, and she gets like a guide, and he kind of compares himself to like the river Styx, you know, that kind of guide. But it is very it's interesting and intriguing and beautifully written, but it's slightly disorientating, because you look, I don't understand how these two things match, or how are we going to meld this. Interesting, intriguing, weird. I kind of like books where you kind of feel a little, what is going on here? And this definitely has that feel. But I love the 70s, like I said, this description of this Gothic house and these snooty girls. And then she asks about the 10th girl, and the girls are like, what 10th girl? So there's some mystery going on there already. And you don't really know what the motives are of this Vaccaro family and why they opened the school. So really interesting, but like weird.
But the way he looks at her, she can tell her sarcasm hasn't quite landed.
I'm
What's famous?
loving the
She should stop
audiobook
there.
for When
She
the Wolf
doesn't.
Comes
Oh,
Home.
you know, just
I
everybody
managed to
knows
find
me. What's
one,
my
so
word?
this
Do you mean like a
is
celebrity?
the
She
challenge
does something
for
now, get excited
reading
to use
an
the words in places
audiobook.
you've never had occasion to use before.
This book, what the actual... So, I've just started this. I read the first couple of chapters and then I found the audiobook for it. And one of the challenges for Summerween is to read a book on audio. So I'm going to kind of swap between the two depending on what I'm doing. And I've been listening to the audiobook for the last sort of hour. And okay, so this is When the Wolf Comes Home by Nat Cassidy. I was really looking forward to reading this. The setup for the story is that you have Jess, I believe her name is Jessica Jess. She is working in a diner. She's there late. It's one of those really kind of quite scuzzy diners. She's also an aspiring actress, but her career's kind of going nowhere. So she's sort of relegated to working in this diner. And her co-worker are sort of joking around, and they see this guy come out of the bathroom, and they're like, oh no, what has he done in the bathroom? And they make a deal, and her co-worker Margie says to her, if you go in and clean whatever happened in the bathroom, I'll take the rest of the shift and you can go early. So she's like, deal. She goes in there and the guy's just throwing up all over the place. She's like, great. So she's cleaning it. And as she reaches behind the toilet, she pricks her finger. She's like, oh, shit. And when she looks, it's a used syringe. So she's freaking out. Like, you know, you would. I mean, come on, right? So she's freaking out. So she basically runs out of the diner, gets in her car, is intending to go to the hospital. Then she realizes she forgot her phone in the diner. And she's like completely freaking out. So she ends up actually just going back to her apartment. And as she's kind of getting into her apartment, she hears this like whimpering noise, and she finds a little boy hiding in the bushes, and he's reading this like book of fairy tales, and he's distraught. He's all by himself. She takes him inside. She gives him some food, and her head is just all over the place. She doesn't know what's going on. She's a bit like, I'm having the worst day ever. And then there's a wolf. Then she gets attacked. Okay. By a werewolf? But the little boy is basically saying, it's daddy, it's daddy. So this is crazy enough, right? So she goes on the run with this child because something happens. I won't spoil everything. But where we've just gotten to, and it's chapter 17, so it's like a page 120. This book has taken another turn. And I was like, I'm sorry, what? So because I was listening to it, I'm like, am I not listening properly? So I kind of had to go back, and then I got the physical book out and I sort of read, and I'm like, no, that was what actually happened. So I won't say what happens, but something happens that is so trippy that had me there for a second going, did I miss something in the story? What the hell is going on here? So it's gone down a route that I was like not expecting. This is fantastic. Also, what I would say is the opening, and I'm like, I so agree, and apologies to any great fathers out there. But the front says, all dads are yes, which in my case is true. So there is a lot of, I connected instantly with these characters because Jess has a lot of monologue in her head about her father leaving and being disappointed in her. And obviously this little boy is terrified of his father because he's a werewolf? Not sure, but he's kind of crazy cuckoo. So I'm really finding that interesting as like another layer to the book, and like her kind of anxiety she has, and like the thoughts that run through her head. I think that's kind of great mental health rep, kind of an anxiety rep in this book as well. So damn, I mean, we're on high page 120. It's like a 400-page book, but so far I'm shooketh and I'm enjoying this. I'll tell you what I think later. Can you tell someone's really excited for Halloween? Hello. I thought I would give you an update because I've been a terrible vlogger and I haven't really updated you. So the last time we spoke, I was reading a couple of books and I finished one and DNF the other. So let's start with The 10th Girl. I was enjoying this in the beginning, but it just got a little bit repetitive for me. The POV of this kind of ghost haunting, it was almost repeating the same things that were happening in the previous chapters. And I was like, where is this going? And it was just starting to really annoy me. And I'm going to be honest, if I have so many books I want to read, and every time I put this down, and was like, I need to pick this up again. I didn't want to. And that is a surefire sign. I did get to page 155 and then I kind of DNF'd it. But I mean, if you want something trippy, haunted, the atmosphere and the description of this house is beautiful. It's got this kind of weird gothic vibes, but the story itself, the overriding emotion was annoyance. And I don't think that's a good sign when all you're thinking about is, God, this book is annoying me. So that was a fail. I did also finish When the Wolf Comes Home. I also did go a bit rogue. So we've got a wolf theme. So actually, let's talk about this one first. So after the 10th girl, I was like, oh no, I don't want to slump. So I was like, okay, I'm going to read this. This is fan service by Rosie Dannon. And this is just a sweet, goofy romance. Actually, there's some hard-hitting topics and a lot of heart in the actual romance. But the premise of this is super fun because you've got Devon, who is currently in his early 40s, bit of a washed-up actor, can't get a role anymore. He's trying to reboot the show that made him famous, which was like a werewolf vampire supernatural show. He played the werewolf on the show. He's not having much luck. But he's also starting to find like these lapses in his memory. He's waking up stark bollock naked on the lawn. Can't remember what he did. Is he drinking too much? What is going on? He has this aggression. He might be a werewolf. For real. So he's like, what do I do? What do I do? So he enlists the help of Alex. Now, Alex was kind of is still the mod on the kind of the fan site for this show. I think it was like, it hasn't aired in like 7 or 8 years or something, quite a long time. But she was the moderator at the time. She was a huge fan. There's this interaction of where she went to meet Devon when she was like 17. There's a bit of an age gap as well. She's in her early 30s. That didn't go well. But anyway, he kind of goes, oh, well, she's the mod on the site. She knows a lot about werewolves. Let's talk to her. So he kind of goes to the small town in Florida she lives in, and he tries to enlist her help in figuring out what's going on with him. And it's their kind of love story. It's very sweet. It is a fun, goofy time. I will say, though, it's just over 400 pages long. You could have shaved 100 pages off, and it would have still been great. It would have still been fun. I just felt like in the middle, I was a little bit like, okay, where are we going now? Let's move this along a little bit. So I will say that I do think it's 100 pages too long. But I just had a fun time reading this. This is a solid 3.5 star fun romance with a bit of a supernatural leaning. And then I did finish When the Wolf Comes Home by Nat Cassidy. I loved the beginning of this. Again, I felt like in the middle for me, it was a little bit long. I'm also not a huge fan of like child protagonists in books, and that's just a me thing. Teenagers, yes, but children, no. I don't like nanny romances, things like that as well. So when you have young children as protagonists, I'm not a huge fan of it, but I think it obviously worked in the context of the story. It did have some crazy scenes in it. Things go ape shit. The explanation for what is going on with this child and what is going on with his father is crazy. The end is crazy. It's a fun ride. I think a lot of people will enjoy this very much. I know there's a lot of like 5-star ratings. Personally, for me, I didn't get like 5-star vibes. I would say it's like a 3.5 star for me in terms of horror. I don't know why. I just didn't get a 5-star vibe, but I had a good time reading it, and I think that a lot of people will have a good time. I think this is a great one to read either now or in proper spooky season. So having said that, I am now looking for a new book to read. I might go a little rogue because I'm in a witch mood. So I might read something witchy. I've also still got The Haunting of Lee Harkner, which I want to read. So we'll see. We'll do my final 2 books, I think, for Summerween. And yeah, enjoy your spooky time. I went rogue, but I'm having such a good time. So I've been reading a lot of like heavier, darker, like I always do, fantasy and romance and obviously horror novels, and I just wanted something light and fluffy and fun, but that still had like the spooky vibe. And I've had this book. How gorgeous is this naked hardcover? I took the dust jacket off to read it. This is Best Hex Ever by Nadia El Fassi, and I've had this on my shelf, this beautiful special edition of it, forever, since last year. I was planning to read this at Halloween because this is set at Halloween. Last year I never got around to it, and now I'm kicking myself, but I'm enjoying it now. So this is essentially a sweet, fluffy, wonderful, romancy, rom-com read, but with the most immaculate, spooky, autumn, Halloween vibes. This is perfect romance for the spooky season. This is definitely being recommended ad nauseum come October, but it is so much fun, and I'm really enjoying it. So this is about our main character, Dina. She is a witch. She's a bit of a kitchen witch. The baking that she does in here, the food that she makes. Oh, and she's North African, she's Moroccan. Oh my gosh, I love North African food. I love all the flavors. I seriously need cake while I'm reading the rest of this book. It's mouth-watering. She has this cafe in London where she infuses a bit of magic in her food. One day, Scott walks into her cafe, and it's just this instant, right? There's instant sort of sparks that fly. Scott is the curator at the British Museum, which is very cool as well. He kind of curates artifacts from all over the world, and particularly things to do with like magic. And like I said, the two of them hit it off straight away, and they end up at their best friend's wedding together. They don't know that their best friends are getting married. So she's the maid of honor and he's the best man. And currently, where I'm reading, halfway through the book, a little over halfway through the book, they are at the wedding and they're doing all these like wedding related things. But because her best friend is actually, both of her best friends are horror novelists, and so everything is, like I said, this is set at Halloween, everything's spooky, everything's autumny, everything is vibing. The vibes in this are just, so much fun. The romance is very sweet between Scott and Dina. There is a kink in the romance though. Dina, when she was younger, she cast kind of a love spell unbeknowing, and so Dina, also our main character, is bisexual, and she cast it on this girl that she was dating at the time, and the girl found out and kind of almost hexed her back. So whenever she falls in love with someone, something bad happens to them. So it's a bit like a love hex, like practical magic. So she's afraid to fall for anyone now, and of course she has all these feelings for Scott. So we're gonna see how that kind of pans out, because they were trying to stay away from each other. They couldn't. So it's adorable, it's wonderful. Like I said, the vibes, they are so vibing. And the good news is I had a look, and she's actually releasing the second book, so they kind of like interconnected standalones. So one of her friends, Rosemary, not the one that's getting married, but her other friend, who's also a horror novelist and can see ghosts. She can see ghosts. She's Nadia El-Fassi is releasing a second book in the series in October. That is called Love at First Fright. That focuses on Rosemary, and I think it's going to be an age gap romance, and Rosemary is going to be working on a film. I think one of her books is being made into film, so I'm living for that. I cannot wait to get that follow up. But yeah, I'm loving this. I absolutely think this is the perfect spooky vibes, low stakes but still some stakes, like romance novel, and it's just so much fun. I'm loving it. I'm gonna read some more. So I got myself some Halloween candy early, because Halloween has arrived early. I finished Best Hex Ever, and I think that's where I'm gonna leave the vlog. I really enjoyed my time doing Summerween. It was so much fun. I'm so into like the Halloween and the spooky books now. I want to read them all. I know it's summer. I know I'm supposed to be reading summer books, but but this was just so much fun. This is giggling, kicking your feet, kind of the sweetest romance with the kind of paranormal, witchy element. Her best friend also sees ghosts, and the second book in the series that's coming out in October that I'm super excited about. I'm actually going to read the second book now, because I want to see that continuation of her friend's story, and her horror book is being made into a movie. So I think that's going to be super fun. But yeah, this was just a fun, like in terms of just a paranormal-ish contemporary romance, honestly, the amount of fun I had reading this, it's like a 4-star read. Now I know this is not a 4-star, like I don't like to compare different genres, so for what this is, a fun spooky time, I had the best time. I just enjoyed myself. So this was a fun vlog. If you stay to the end, leave me a skull emoji. Let me know what you've read, if you've read any Summerween books, if you've been in your Halloween spirit, and I will see you all again in the next one. Bye.